On this stampeding episode of MythBusters, we go head-to-head with the forces of nature and live to regret it. Adam and Jamie shoot a time-honored saying full of holes.
You gonna shoot me in the barrel?
They reanimate the dead.
It's alive!
Then go way over the top to see if it really is easy to shoot fish in a barrel. And Cary, Grant, and Tori risk life and lips in a stomach-turning search for the best hot chili cure.
My mouth's on fire!
Then the boys go wild to see if a mouse can really panic a pachyderm.
You expose the mouse and all hell breaks loose.
Who are the MythBusters? Adam Savage.
That was awesome!
And Jamie Heineman.
Mush.
Between them, more than 30 years of special effects experience.
Rise, my son.
Joining them, Grant Imahara.
Warning, warning.
Tori Belleci.
It's getting dangerous now, and that's how we like it.
And Cary Byron.
That is messed up!
They don't just tell the myths,
Wow, I can feel the pressure.
they put them to the test.
So what do we got this time?
We have a proverb, adage, a saying.
Okay, what style or genre of adage do we have?
Well, I'll give you a hint. It refers to something that's really easy.
Easy as pie.
No, keep going.
Oh, stealing candy from a baby.
Never tried it, but that's not it.
Oh, shooting fish in a barrel.
That's it,
Awesome. And then maybe later we can fit in stealing candy from a baby.
if you wanna.
Jamie and Adam won't be the first to destroy an innocent barrel, but they might be the first to seriously test if shooting fish inside a barrel is as easy as it sounds.
Well, so the plan seems strangely easy on this one, but we can't use real live fish. I mean, we'll run into trouble from everybody on that front.
Yeah, well, okay. Why don't we go to the fish market and get something that's already on ice, and then I'll bring it back to life, my way.
Okay, that's a good if creepy plan.
Over at the seafood store, Adam soon finds he's way out of his depth. He's more a fish finger fancier.
Oh, look, 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 they've got a slot here so you can wear them like a mitten. That's great, you can keep your hands warm.
First, Adam and Jamie have to agree on a species they think typifies your average fish.
He's beautiful, look at that.
How you doing, Jamie? You gonna shoot me in the barrel?
You know, I've actually animated these things to do exactly that.
Really?
Yeah. It was a trout, though.
It was a trout.
A big one.
The trout's out for this myth. But it should be just as easy to stuff a tiny motor inside a dead snapper so it shimmies just like a live one. Well, that's the plan anyway.
We got some small fish, we got some medium-sized fish, and we got some nice large fish. This ought to allow us to get a really good view about how easy it is to shoot fish in a barrel.
Time to accost another bemused merchant for essential hardware. Mike Zitzalf is a winemaker who really knows his barrels.
You've got old world cooperages, the companies that make these barrels, they've been used for hundreds of years. So this will be perfect for your job, yeah.
Do you ever store any fish in any of these barrels?
We try not to. It's really detrimental to the wine. So to answer, no, we don't.
But they can't roll home without just a sip of the good stuff.
I'm sensing mackerel, cod, maybe some, dead catfish.
And Mike's sensing that Adam shouldn't give up his day job, whatever that is.
Bye!
Back at M5, Jamie fine-tunes a tiny electric motor that should reanimate his catch of the day.
I've got an off-center crank, like there. I've got a piece of piano wire going through it, and then a piece of brass tubing that's silver soldered onto an eye.
This evil genius has just made a Frankenfish. It's no stretch for Jamie to replace entrails with electronics.
I'm just gonna kind of gut it and put motors where its guts were, and we'll see whether it works.
There's a good chance that the batteries aren't strong enough to make this fish flap underwater, but Adam shows he's a barrel half full kind of guy.
Oh, look, he looks great. It looks like he swam right away.
And he needs more flotation.
Look, he looks terrific, though.
Yeah, the machine's actually working.
A fish's flotation bladder stops working when it's dead, so Jamie adds an extra tube of buoyant plastic.
We are almost ready to go. We've got our blast chamber set up around a full barrel of water, and in a very little while, I'm gonna lower Jamie's frankenfish into that water. He's gonna climb a ladder with a 9mm pistol and take a shot at that fish. For the first time ever, we're shooting fish in a barrel on TV.
Jamie Heineman, our own specialist sharpshooter, unholsters his trusty 9mm. He aims true and pulls the trigger. He's blown the bunk, but more improbably, he's missed the target. This ex-fish hasn't suffered a post-mortem scratch.
You see any bullet holes?
I don't see any at all.
No.
And it was still flipping.
It was still flapping, so yeah, you obviously didn't hit it in the torso.
Obviously, and let's pause to consider that a fish is pretty much all torso.
Well, Frankenfish here works like a charm. He's still going strong, but I missed him. This could be because it was murky water, there wasn't much light, there's a lot of fish debris in it.
The fact remains that at point-blank range, this fish dodged a bullet. It's meant to be the easiest thing in the world, but Jamie floundered. Still, Adam's prepared to do whatever it takes to make life easier for the maestro. A coat of white paint and 2 windows in a new barrel should clear things up for Jamie and the camera.
Well, we need to know what's going on inside of this, and so to aid us, both with camera and our eyes, I've cut a couple of windows. This is the bottom. My head is sticking out of the bottom of the barrel, and we're also going to be able to look through the sides here.
It all seems so simple, but shooting fish in a barrel is no slam dunk.
Also, if you remember that even the 9mm that Jamie fired in here was enough to make the bunghole release and start to spew water. I think we all remember what happened last time we fired a gun into a water tank in Jamie's shop.
The memories come flooding back.
Yank all those cords out, just yank them out.
All they proved here was that it's best to do this kind of test at someone else's place.
So rather than spill a bunch more water in here, I think we take this experimental platform out on the road and go somewhere we can spill water.
And hopefully hit the target.
Spin around. Okay, go. Wait.
What?
A little bit more like that. Like that, okay.
Hey, what are you guys doing?
You like spicy food?
No, I hate spicy food. And what does it have to do with a piñata?
Chilies. The fans want us to test hot chili cures for a spicy mouth.
We've all done it. We've all regretted it. And eventually, we'll do it again. So what is the very best remedy for a deadly dose of hot chilies? Tori and Grant put their tongues on the line so you never have to.
So we have our chilies. We have a whole range of mythical cures from the fan site. I say we eat the chilies, see which of the cures work the best. And when I say we, I mean you guys, because I need to administer the test scientifically.
But doesn't everybody know that milk is the best cure for hot chili mouth?
Which we will test. But there are a lot of cures that are not quite as predictable as milk.
Like what?
Oh, well, water, beer, toothpaste, wasabi, petroleum jelly.
Petroleum jelly? Who eats petroleum jelly?
To win the war, it helps to know your enemy. Dave DeWitt's written over 30 books on fiery foods, and he understands your pain.
This is a chemical reaction. Just like you have taste buds in your mouth, you also have capsaicin receptors, capsaicin being the ingredient that makes chili peppers hot.
Capsaicin molecules from the chili bond with receptors inside the mouth. These same receptors also register pain from heat. That's why it feels like your tongue's on fire.
So we're planning on testing this ourselves. This is something that's been on my mind. Can you die from eating a chili that's too hot?
You could die. It would probably be a suffocation.
Why suffocation?
Just your lungs would just completely shut down if you consume too much of it.
Having picked his peck of peppers, Grant delivers a bagful to the MythBusters kitchen. It's up to Carrie to choose his poison.
Habaneros are way too hot, and I have a feeling Grant's gonna be a little sensitive to this as it is, so I'm starting at a middle ground, which is just the basic plain old jalapeno. I'm gonna chop off the stems, and I'm gonna put the whole jalapeno in there, seeds, skin, everything.
Carrie picks the mildest chili she has. They're all concerned for lab rat number 1, and that would be Grant.
Grant doesn't like spicy food, Grant doesn't eat spicy food.
So he's bound to suffer way worse than this.
Wish we figured those chili crowds out now. That's actually a little bit hotter than I expected it to be.
Oblivious to all warnings, Grant and Tori set the scene.
Is this to try to make us ignore the pain of the peppers?
It's a party.
Then get dressed for success. Sombreros, boots, and bandoliers. A desperately cliched battle looms between the tragically uncool, the undeniably hot, and these two idiots.
Go ahead. Make my chili.
If there's anything more useful, more fun, or downright fascinating than a barrel, well, I haven't seen it. Adam and Jamie are hell-bent on testing a myth that's never been challenged. Apparently, there's nothing easier than shooting fish in a barrel.
So we went so far as to call the writer of the American Heritage Dictionary of Idioms, and we could still not come up with an answer about the origin of the phrase shooting fish in a barrel.
Well, up to about 100 years ago, it was the most common way of storing fish. They were salted and packed in a barrel.
Right, but there is no information that we have that leads us to understand whether it means shooting a fish packed to the brim in a barrel or a barrel full of water and some live fish. The answer's just not out there.
Well, however you look at it, it's kind of stupid, but that's never stopped us before, has it?
No, it hasn't.
Sadly, that's true. Crackshot Jamie Heineman, who once destroyed a 1-inch sniper scope from 100 yards away, recently missed a big fat dead fish from a distance of 3 feet.
You seeing bullet holes?
I don't see any at all.
Bent on a better result and less mess, the boys relocate to an outdoor shooting range. Adam rolls out the barrel, and Jamie puts the spark back in his snapper.
He's alive!
Hold on. I'm sorry. But if you're gonna go, it's alive, it has to be more like this. It's alive! Like that. Can you do that? No. Really? Come on, try it.
No.
With me. Ready?
I did my thing.
1, 2, 3. Come on!
You know I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I know. All right.
Adam's got the attitude, but Jamie's got a gun. Frankenfish is duly dangled in the renovated barrel. But will a new window and fresh white paint give Jamie the edge on a dead fish?
Jamie, that is so messed up.
Jamie knows his lines, but what's his motivation?
It's Christmas time and you're off to the shops to buy a present for your wife, but this little fish, your former business manager, has skipped town with your life savings and your secretary. Go for it.
This is 9mm into Frankenfish in 3, 2, 1.
I think he's still squirming.
This time, Jamie scored a hit right below the eye, and that's got Adam all fired up.
Well, Jamie was successful in hitting Frankenfish with a bullet, but not where he was aiming. And this guy was still squirming around when we pulled him out of the water, so I think it's only right that I get a chance to see if I can put him out of his mechanical misery. Yes, I can.
So Adam mounts the ladder of death. He takes aim and hits the fish.
I killed it!
Whether it's the sunshine or the bright new barrel, this is starting to look a lot easier than it did back in the shop.
We had a couple of goes. We hit the fish both times, so if the fish is big enough, it is pretty easy.
But what if the fish are much, much smaller? The myth doesn't specify the mass, so Adam prepares some bait-sized plastic lures.
It's the dead fish Christmas tree.
And it's fair to assume some latitude with the weapon of choice.
I think it's time to shoot a bunch of small fish with a bigger gun. We got 9 pellets of double odd buck, and if I'm really good, I'll get 9 fish.
6 of Adam's custom Christmas fish racks are hung from the rim of the barrel. It's up to Jamie to assassinate the bait.
3, 2, 1.
I didn't get wet at all. How are you doing?
That's great, Adam. Much better you stay dry than all this expensive equipment. So, damage assessment proceeds the old-fashioned way. The truth of the phrase now hangs in the balance. But incredibly, the buckshot seems to have missed everything.
I don't see any hits on any of these fish.
No hits here.
Okay.
Then, finally, a ray of destructive hope.
Oh, okay, here's a big hit. That's good.
Ah, that's a hit. Right through the eye. That was the one I was shooting for.
Oh, you knocked his eye clean off his head. Okay, well, you were aiming for fish, plural, in a barrel. And although your percentage is relatively small, I'd say you hit fish, plural, in a barrel.
But Jamie's hit just 3 from 30 of these tiny targets. Does a measly 10% hit rate confirm or refute the fabled simplicity of shooting fish in a barrel?
That's not all that impressive, but I gotta say that the rest of those fish, I don't think would be too happy. You know, they might all be dead from a shockwave for all we know.
Ah, that's right.
Back at the cantina, Tori and Grant prepare to suck it up in the name of science.
Once again, I find another way to humiliate myself on MythBusters.
Carrie's blended a not-so-secret sauce of pure jalapenos. Potential hot chili cures suggested by fans range from beer to toothpaste to petroleum jelly.
Petroleum jelly in your mouth? Are you kidding me? I'm not doing that.
But that's the least of Grant's concerns.
This is an interesting situation for me because it will be the spiciest thing I've ever eaten and the most of any spice ever. So I hope my head doesn't explode.
He might just be like, this is nothing. Or he may fall on the floor into the fetal position and cry like a little baby.
Chili experts swear that rich dairy products offer the best pain relief. The theory is that the fat in dairy helps neutralize the pain caused by the oily capsaicin. Anything too watery, it's believed, just won't do the job. So milk is set to be our control cure.
All right.
How are we gonna do this?
Now we're gonna start off with whole fat milk. This is our tried and true, ready to soothe your mouth control. We know it works. You're going to put half a teaspoon of this jalapeno puree in your mouth, swirl it around for 10 seconds. Now, after that, you're gonna spit it out. Spit. Then you're gonna wait 30 seconds. 10, 11, and go for the cure. Milk. We need a rating system between 1 and 10 on how well this cure works. This is our control will be 5, so it'll be less or more than the milk.
So, whatever relief the boys feel from milk, they'll rate a 5 on a scale of 1 to 10. If any subsequent cure is better than milk, they'll rate it 6 or over.
I don't even need milk. It's really not that hot.
But there's a problem. It's not so much Grant squealing like new tires at a car park. It's that Tori hasn't raised a sweat. And you can't soothe what doesn't hurt to begin with.
You know, I don't know why the jalapenos aren't affecting me that much. I mean, I do eat a lot of spicy foods.
And Grant, as we all recall, does not.
As far as the milk goes, I'm happy with that as a cure, but I really can't imagine more pain in my mouth than that. Let's just say I don't really have to experience that ever again in my life.
Actually, he does. Over and over again. But Grant won't have to eat Carrie's deadly new paste of much hotter habanero peppers, made real special just for Tori.
Oh my God, it's serious. It's like napalm. Look at this stuff.
To put that into perspective, the bell pepper scores 0 on the standard Scoville heat scale. Jalapenos range from 2,500 to 10,000 units. Habaneros from 80,000 to 300,000. And the But Jolokia, the world's hottest pepper, rings the bell at 1 million. Tori should now feel the burn just as badly as Grant. And once that burn kicks in, the first thing most of us reach for is plain old water.
I think the theory behind the water is very simple. You have a fire, you throw water on it.
So the boys suck, then spit their respective pepper poisons.
You've got 30 seconds to wait before you complete the water.
With each passing second, the pain increases, this time for both of them. But will water be a better cure than milk?
1, cure it.
I have to say that's about a 3, because once the water goes away, it stops working. See how, like, even after it's gone?
All right, let's give it a 3.5.
So water doesn't cut the mustard. But thanks to a rash of seriously strange fan-site cures, there's worse, much worse, to come. Aside from apple pies and baseball, there's nothing more wholesome, more American than going fishing. So far, Adam and Jamie have done their best to show how easy it is to shoot the suckers in barrels, with some success.
I killed it!
They've shot big and little fish with pistols and shotguns. But Jamie's had a brain explosion. We've all seen dynamite fishing, and he thinks the shockwaves from bullets in barrels could be just as lethal.
You know, I think your intuition out there is correct. It might not be the bullets that's going to kill these fish, but the pressure wave.
Well, maybe we should get some sensors and put them in the barrel and verify that.
Great. Okay, and I'm going to go talk to a local ichthyologist about how pressure waves affect fish.
It's a plan.
I'll meet you back here.
Okay.
A sudden explosion in water causes a rapid rise, then fall of pressure. It's thought that either wave is enough to turn unsuspecting flounder into instant fish sticks. So Adam turns to an expert, Bart Shepard of Steinhardt Aquarium, for confirmation.
I guess our question is, how reactive would fish in general be to something like a shockwave caused by a bullet?
Very, very sensitive. Fish have a highly developed lateral line system that's sensitive to those kinds of changes in pressure that they use for orientation and sort of communication amongst themselves.
Do you think if we fire a bullet or even a shotgun slug into a barrel that we would end up killing all the fish within that barrel?
I'd expect to see trauma on the gills. They're very sensitive, and they will collapse on each other, and probably all the blood vessels in there would be ruptured. I would expect to see some trauma in the eyes, certainly those areas.
And would that kill a fish?
It would certainly compromise it. Depending on the force that you were exerting, I think you could kill it, yes.
So Bart confirms the theory that you don't have to hit the fish to kill them, and that could make things a darn sight easier. Adam and Jamie crunch the numbers from tests on humans working long periods underwater and under pressure.
And what we concluded is that any fish will receive mortal injuries if it receives more than 215 decibels underwater. The equivalent of that in pounds per square inch of pressure is 8.15. That's our magic bullet number.
This fancy pressure sensor should prove once and for all if shock waves from a gunshot are fatal to fish. That magic number, for those playing at home, is 8.15.
9 mil pressure test in 3, 2, 1.
The reading doesn't look right. 0.5 psi. That doesn't sound right to me.
Doesn't sound right to anyone. Fact is, this clever instrument isn't fast enough to read the high-speed impact of a bullet. It's time for a patented MythBuster Plan B.
What if we use those shock watches? Those stick-on, throw-away shock sensors.
God, it's so funny. Those always turn out to be the most reliable way of measuring trauma. Absolutely, let's try it. Let's get him in the barrel and take another shot.
Okay.
These stick-on patches are mostly used to tell if a package is dropped or bashed in the mail. They don't measure pressure in pounds per square inch, but in G-force.
We have them in 50, 75, and 100 Gs, which basically means injured, mortally wounded, lethal, that kind of thing. If we have the 50 G go off even in this test, I believe it's a safe indication that a fish would have been damaged.
So 3 differently rated shock watches are stuck fast on a metal sheet, then dunked in the barrel. If the blast trips even the most sensitive patch, Jamie figures that any fish would be dead in the water.
All right, shock watch test, 9mm in 3, 2, 1.
Uh-oh. The barrel bung is an instant casualty, but so what? The boys have bigger fish to fry.
It tripped both the... Wait, it looks like it tripped all three.
It did.
Yeah, I can see the red spill here.
It got the lower two quicker, but it did trip the green one too.
These tiny red spots show that all three patches burst like bubble wrap in a bear hug.
And it means you don't even have to aim at the stupid fish. You can just open fire and it'll all float to the top, right?
It's not very sporting, though, is it?
No.
That's a definitive myth confirmed. Even when Jamie hit just 3 from 30, the other 27 were headed for plastic fish heaven. But surely they can't leave it here.
Well, I gotta say, it didn't happen the way I thought it was going to happen, but this expression's looking pretty confirmed.
Well, you don't think we're gonna leave it there, do you?
You're gonna take shooting fish in a barrel to some kind of extreme?
What do you think?
He thinks what we all think. Jamie's planned a fireworks finish. With no regard for cost or consequence, Jamie's putting this myth to bed Stallone style.
Wow!
Tori and Grant are putting their tongues and lips on the line to test the best ever bomb for hot chili mouth burning. So far, they've testified that full-fat milk beats tap water. They're waiting a full day between each test, so their mouths get a chance to recover. Now, for 2 cures we all so desperately want to work: beer and spirits.
The idea here is that the alcohol in the beer will dissolve the capsaicin better than just plain water.
There's not a whole lot of science to support that. And let's not forget that beer is mostly water.
This is a very common cure, because you're in a restaurant, the first thing you reach for when your mouth's on fire could be a beer.
As always, the boys hold their chili for 10 seconds. Wait an agonizing half-minute.
It's pretty hot.
Then reach for relief.
Can I get another one?
What was your rating on beer?
What did I rate water?
3.
I think I'd rate it about the same.
Is it as good as milk?
I would give it, I'm gonna give it a 4.
Spirits are around 8 times stronger than beer. So if the theory holds true, tequila should be 8 times more effective. But Tori has his doubts.
Tequila burns your mouth, so it could actually make the whole burning sensation worse. Could intensify it.
He's about to learn to trust his instincts.
What's your rating? 1 to 10.
Hotter. It intensifies it.
1 to 10, where are you at?
-20.
But both of them swished before they swallowed. Once the numbness kicks in, they revise the ratings. Tori gives tequila a 4 and Grant a 3.
I think tequila is a cure for hot, spicy mouth, the way it's a cure for ugly. It just numbs it a little bit. Look at them. They look like they're all right.
And that's the last of what we like to call the conventional cures. 1 recovery day later, and Carrie has the first questionable cure.
Well, the idea is that the gel toothpaste has a higher sugar content. You put it at the apex of your tongue, and it should cool your whole mouth.
Tori and Grant pray that toothpaste won't be torture. But it's not looking likely.
My mouth's on fire! That's like when you have a cut and you pour Tabasco sauce on it.
You do that?
No, I'm just saying, like, have you ever done that? No?
No.
Okay, maybe it's just me.
Yeah, that did the exact opposite of relieving the pain.
This did not work at all. Toothpaste?
Toothpaste stays in the bathroom, not on the dinner table.
Something else you rarely reach for at dinner is petroleum jelly.
Nobody's explained exactly why this is supposed to help, but it'll be a miracle if it does. My prediction is that we are going to get dry heaves. I think somebody is going to get close to vomiting.
Now there's a pep talk for you. Carrie saved two of the most disgusting, most insane remedies till the very end.
Pop quiz. What do you think musophobia is a fear of? And I'll give you a hint. It's one of the most common phobias out there.
Fear of mooses?
No. It's in fact a fear of mice. And that's what our next myth is about.
Okay, let's hear it.
The myth is that not only are humans afraid of mice, but also our pachyderm friends. The elephants are terrified of mice.
Like in the cartoons.
Exactly. Except we're going to test it in reality.
It's a myth of David versus Goliath proportions. A scream and a stampede later, and well, you know the rest.
I'm guessing the plan here is pretty simple. Why don't you spell it out for me?
Well, we get some elephants and some ice and see what happens.
Right. Well, the circus is coming to town.
I don't want to use a circus elephant. They're trained. I think we need a real elephant, something out of the wild.
So we need to go somewhere where elephants wander in the wild. Africa! Let's go to Africa.
Last time they were here, they put their lives and their lunches on the line when they put great white shark myths to the test in South Africa.
Oh! Wow!
But for this myth, they're looking for something a little less lethal.
So we've come to Wilkes Wildlife Rescue, where not only do they have a bunch of mice, but judging by the "Beware of Snake" sign on the door, they also have a menagerie of other kind of animals, too. Hi, are you Margot?
Yeah, hi there.
Adam, nice
Pleased
to
to
meet
meet you.
Margot's menagerie scares the innards out of Adam, but will a full-grown elephant be just as frightened by a harmless mouse?
So, Margot, have you heard the myth that elephants are actually terrified of mice?
That one again, yes.
So do you think it's true?
I doubt it. If you think about the size thing, such a big elephant, such a small mouse, there's plenty of other things for them to be afraid of. Rhino occasionally attack elephants. Buffalo would attack. Leopards and lions take youngsters. I doubt a mouse would do the trick.
If you've got some mice for us, we'd love to use them as test subjects.
Certainly, just over here.
Oh, in this bucket?
That's an...
Awesome. It's hard to imagine that something so small could be so terrifying to one of the largest mammals in the world. But we'll find out.
The target species here is the African elephant, and they're not hard to find.
Welcome to Aquila Safaris.
Thank you. Now, we've brought a bucket full of mice.
Yes.
And I understand you have some elephants.
We do indeed, yes. We've also got the lions, the leopards, the big five.
Behind me are our test subject elephants. Now, these guys are semi-habituated, which is the only reason I'm allowed to be this close. If we were actually in the wild, this would be extremely dangerous.
I've seen elephants in zoos. I've seen them in the Discovery Channel, but being up close to them in their natural environment is something else. They're wonderful creatures.
Back in the safety of the truck, the boys need to work out just how to get their minuscule mice next to these massive mammals.
All right, so the elephants are over there. We've got their arch nemesis right here. How are we gonna get this mouse to those elephants?
Slingshot.
Okay, seriously. We need to improvise some kind of mouse delivery system, something that won't freak out the elephants.
Well, where there are elephants, there's elephant dung. So maybe we get a ball of dung and we'll dig a hole in it and put the mouse in. And then we'll just yank
Pull
it
the
over.
string.
Yeah.
That's great. That's a total MacGyver solution. That's exactly what we should do. Let's go find some elephant dung.
Okay.
MacGyver and elephant dung. Must have missed that episode.
You go that way, I'll go this way. Don't get eaten by a lion.
Okay.
By housing the mouse in some elephant dung, the MythBusters are trying to make sure that the rabid rodent is the only variable that could scare the elephant. And finding some dung shouldn't be a problem.
Well, we've come all the way to Africa. We've got a real treat. Over my shoulder is a wild Heinemann in his natural environment, and he seems, if I'm correct, to be dung hunting. That's important we stay very quiet. They are deadly if provoked. Let's see what he does. Oh, he's gone into hiding.
Hey, Adam. Got some.
So that's the dung, which leaves Adam to work on the mouse delivery system, a job that's hardly taxing.
In the course of doing MythBusters, we've done some pretty elaborate builds. We escaped from Alcatraz in a boat made out of raincoats. We replicated a Confederate rocket with plumbing parts. And we used 309 hand mirrors to replicate Archimedes' death ray. This is not one of those builds. Allow me to demonstrate. You take your piece of elephant dung, and you take your mouse. This is a stand-in mouse. The real one will be later. Put him in the hole, cover him with the cardboard. Lay it out if you think elephants are gonna come on by. And wait in the distance with your monofilament. When the elephant gets near, boop, you expose the mouse and all hell breaks loose.
That's the theory with the poo puppet. But before it's unleashed, the boys get all colonial as they delve deeper into this rodent ramble.
You know, Adam, this seems like it first started in the early days of TV cartoons, because that's what I think about when I think about this myth.
Well, you might think that, but in fact, you'd be wrong. The attribution we have for this myth dates to 77 AD, when Pliny the Elder wrote, and I quote, "The elephant hates the mouse above all other creatures, and if he even sees one touch the fodder in his stall, he will reject it with disgust."
You know, elephants were really popular in Roman circuses, and Pliny the Elder had a lot of opportunity to study them.
Well, it sounds like we should put Pliny to the test.
Pliny the Elder.
With Pliny the Elder's reputation on the line, it's all systems go.
We've chosen this area because it's open enough that we can see what's going on. And we know there's some food over in that direction, and we're hoping that the elephants will come through here on their way to the food, and at the right moment, we'll roll over the ball of dung, release the mouse, and see what happens. Hey, Adam, are you done yet?
I'm all set, ready to go.
Well, with everything ready to go, all that's left is to get some fairly predictable predictions.
For me, I see this the same way I would see a person looking at a fly on the ground. It's going to be so small that you may not even notice it. I don't see any reason why an elephant would be afraid of a mouse.
Honestly, I don't think much is going to happen. I don't have high hopes for this myth.
With the sensible money on the no reaction theory, it's go time. The elephants innocently approach the dung of doom in what must be the most easy to anticipate outcome in MythBusters history. But then, as crazy as it seems, the elephant backs away. The MythBusters, like me, are flabbergasted.
What just happened is a classic MythBusters scenario. We were all like, yeah, right, this little guy's gonna scare those big guys. And it did. I mean, our jaws just dropped because it was clear as day. The mouse came out, the elephant stopped in its tracks, like, whoa, and then it gently tiptoed away as if this thing was deadly. We all thought this was never gonna happen, yet there it was.
There it was, clear as day. But with a result as unbelievable as that, we can't call it yet. So far, Tori and Grant have suffered and sweated through a bunch of so-called cures for hot, chilly mouth.
Yeah, that did the exact opposite of relieving the pain.
None of them worked as well as milk. And the final two risky remedies sound more like torture than relief. The first is petroleum jelly.
Wait a minute, there's a hair in mine.
The jelly is oil-based, so it should work. But the boys can't get past that extra texture.
That doesn't work at all. It's just nasty.
Tori rates it a 2, and Grant gives it a 1. 4 points worse than milk.
That test was disgusting. That lived up to all my expectations, which were none.
And there's no relief in sight, unless wasabi proves you really can fight fire with fire.
My prediction for this cure, pain, and lots of it.
Carrie's doing this last sadistic test one victim at a time, and Tori's the first to watch and worry.
How does your mouth feel?
I forgot about the chili.
How do you rate wasabi?
It's gotta be, it's like -10, -100.
Strong, hysterical words from a man who's clearly reached his limits. Now it's Tori's turn to test his.
Kind of nice. It's kind of like a Mexican-Japanese fusion.
Unbelievable. Tori not only rates wasabi a 3 for pain relief, he actually enjoyed it.
All right, so wasabi.
Yeah, it's like...
Surprise hit over here, total misery over here.
I cannot believe that.
I know, it's weird.
It is weird. There's no accounting for taste or tolerance. But there's one thing both boys agree on. Nothing beats full-fat milk as a hot chili cure. In the bumpy road that is MythBusters, the team has had some pretty unexpected results. An exploding tire can kill.
Pulled his spine out of his head.
And a bull let loose in a china shop does not go on the rampage.
That was nothing like I imagined it would be.
But Adam and Jamie have just had the most unexpected result in MythBusters history. It looks like it's true that elephants are scared of mice.
That was amazing. The elephant totally avoided the mouse. He looked down, saw it, backed up, made a wide berth around this little guy.
The boys are so perplexed that a little more testing is needed.
That result was pretty shocking.
Yeah, it blew me away. I mean, maybe it was the movement of the turd itself and it wasn't the mouse. Why don't we test it without the mouse?
Okay, that sounds good. Let's put him in the bucket and try it empty.
Working under the assumption that it must have been the movement of the dung that freaked the Ellie out, the boys reset for take 2, dung movement only. But this time, the elephant was undeterred. This is getting ridiculous.
He didn't seem to respond to the ball of dung at all, and I think my timing was exactly the same as it was with the mouse in there.
It works for me. Elephants are afraid of mice.
Not only was I totally wrong in the first test about the elephant not reacting at all to the mouse, but after it happened, I was sure that it was the dung moving. I was absolutely positive that it was the dung moving. So we do another test, the dung moves, the elephant doesn't even notice. It has to have been the mouse.
Working on the basis that science is repeatable, the boys are going to retry test 1 to see if they still get this incredible result.
All right, let's see what happens. Okay.
For the final time, the elephants approach. And lo and behold, in this David and Goliath battle, David wins again.
He definitely seemed to take notice of the mouse, like it was a significantly different thing than just the dung. I wasn't dreading this result. I'm always pleased to be completely wrong. I'm more astonished that I'm finishing the day calling something plausible that I knew wasn't plausible when I got up this morning.
When I first heard this myth, I'd say I put it in the same category as something like, you know, when pigs fly. But there it was. It happened. He definitely didn't freak out, but he was very cautious. The mouse had his attention. It's that little grain of truth that we always look for in a myth, and there it was.
There it was indeed. So with the mouse safe and well, despite Adam's best efforts, and the elephants ready to move on, it's time to wrap this one up.
How are we going to call this one?
Well, it wasn't a stampede. It wasn't like the cartoons where the elephant freaked out at the sight of the mouse. But the idea that the elephant was cautious around the mouse, I'd say we have to call that plausible.
I'd agree.
What do you think?
Hello.
So far, Adam and Jamie have shown just how easy it is to shoot fish in a barrel.
Wow!
It turns out they could have proved this myth blindfolded. The shockwave alone is enough to turn any fish belly up.
And it means you don't even have to aim at the stupid fish. You can just open fire and they'll all float to the top, right?
Still, it's better to end with a bang than a shudder. So Jamie decides to push this myth to the max. It's a finish so special, so secretive, that even Adam's been kept in the dark.
Are we there? Where are we?
We're right here.
What's that?
Why don't you stay right here? I'll be out in a second.
Jamie's called in a very big favor. 1 mad hour with a kick-ass M134 minigun.
No way!
And the ammo's thrown in for free. Thank God for that.
Wow!
This state-of-the-art assault gun shoots up to 3,000 rounds a minute. That's 50 bullets every second.
I'm no, crime scene investigator, but I strongly suspect that someone's been firing a gun in the vicinity of this car. Oh my gosh.
And look at the backside.
We did almost cut it in half. Look at that.
Jamie's used an old steel barrel to get his eye in.
It's like a lace curtain.
So can we get to the fish?
Yeah, let's get a real barrel out here and get a fish in it.
All right.
Come on, faster. What are you getting paid by the hour?
Shut up. I'll make you stand on the barrel, and I'll shoot it out from under you.
In high spirits, Adam prepares the venue. And Jamie supplies the victim, a 3-foot sea bass, straight from the seafood shop.
So we've got a brand new barrel, we've got a nice big fish, and the biggest gun we've ever had on the show.
We need to stress that no fish have been or will be injured in filming this myth. They're mostly blown to pieces.
Fish in a barrel. In 3, 2, 1. What do you think?
I'd say keep going.
More?
I think you go more.
We want more?
We want more.
Did I hear it more?
How about everybody at home? You want more? Yeah, everyone at home wants more.
All right, then. More it is. Firing.
Your traditional Cooper makes a very sturdy barrel, but they were never meant to cope with this.
Safety's on. Double safety.
Nice work. Let's go inspect and see if that fish has been hit.
It's high time our forensic investigators confirm the cause of death.
Oh man, that is nasty.
The head's left.
That's nasty stuff. Would you say that was pretty easy?
Yeah, that was almost as easy as shooting fish in a barrel.
I think our work here is done.
Remember that this myth is delightfully vague. All they needed was some kind of fish and some kind of barrel, and they've blown it to bits.
Myth confirmed.
Yeah, I think that given the right gun and the right barrel, shooting fish in a barrel is super easy. Let's go home.